Welcome to CAPECAST. Brandon?
CAPECAST. Finally, another CAPECAST. Been on a hiatus for a while.
And we've got a new familiar face.
Yeah, who is this? How did he get in here?
This is how y'all do this show, huh?
Hey, Al.
The glitch in the Matrix.
Hey,
How you
how's
doing,
it going,
Al?
guys? I'm good. I just
You
saw the
excited
call
about
go
this?
up, so I figured I'd join. Why not?
Oh, well, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome, buddy.
Watched the episode an hour ago.
Yeah, I did. I'm fresh.
Brandon, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Cool.
Doing good. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing good as well. Good to see some new Star Wars content out there finally. It's been a while.
Been a while.
It's good
yeah.
to see new content, period. So
Yeah, I guess that's true. Man, it's pretty wild when you think about that. So, I guess did Mandalorian come out last year at this exact time, or was it later?
wasn't it in
Yeah.
October or what was it?
Yeah, I think it was October. It was like the day Disney Plus launched. So
That's right, because they had wrapped up by the time the last movie came out, right?
Yeah.
like the week.
I remember
right,
all
the week
the
before.
Isn't it
Yeah,
funny how
although,
that free year subscription, they got the Mandalorian right in there to make
Yeah.
you make you resubscribe?
Oh, you want to come back, huh?
I mean, smart on their part because they haven't had anything really worth
They're
watching.
definitely.
I haven't
since
opened
then.
They're
it.
definitely.
I haven't
They're
opened
going hardcore on the Baby Yoda merch this year. They're like not missing out on that.
Yeah.
it. Yeah. I haven't opened it. Everybody else that
understand
uses
that.
my account has opened it for kids movies with their kids, but
I think that's the only thing that I've watched on. I guess Katie's watched like some of the Disney movies and old Disney movies, but that's the only thing that I've watched since Mandalorian.
Yeah, we've watched a handful of like the obvious. Well, we own most of the Disney movies, but as far as like we watched that, what was that movie, Al, that I told you that was pretty decent? Was it Timothy something? No, it wasn't Timothy something. What was the?
you're talking about the little detective kid?
Yeah,
Yeah,
can't
it was
think of the name of it.
It was
It wasn't. It was
Timothy
the guy
or
that
something.
directed Spotlight
Yeah.
that put it out. It was actually pretty good. And we watched that great Ivan movie and a few other, like Onward, which
Yeah, we've listened to CiNEMACHiNE.
Oh yeah.
Tell us what else you and your daughter watch.
Well, we were just talking about Disney Plus. I was just sorry, man.
I'm just
I was just
kidding,
following
Brandon.
your lead.
I'm just kidding.
I'll-
Just kidding, Brandon. Just kidding.
I'll be-
We're making jokes, having fun.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Keep
Brandon's
an
having
eye out
second
on
thoughts
social,
about
by the
this.
way. we got an awesome video of Brandon covered in flies that we'll be putting up on social.
Yeah. Ryan, I miss when it was just you and I doing CAPECAST. The vibe is off. I don't like this.
Remember way back?
It says nothing in my writer about Al. So I gotta add that clause. No Al clause.
All right. Well, I figure we can just jump right into it. What
guess-
we're gonna do is we're gonna do weekly reviews of The Mandalorian as they come out. And Brandon, what do you want to say?
That's basically what I was gonna say.
Gotcha. All right. Yep. So that's the plan. And so last one came out on Friday, or first one of this season came out on Friday. And would like to get kind of general views on it first. You can start with Al.
So should I go back and talk about if I like the first season of Mandalorian or not?
Go for
If
it.
it's different than you
positive.
didn't like it, yes. Because we automatically assume that you don't like something. But
Yeah. So Brandon
yes.
says I don't like anything new.
Yeah, you're not allowed to talk about episode 9.
So there's like a Mason-Dixon line of what Brandon and I like. If it's 5 years or before, I like it. 5 years or newer, Brandon says I don't like it. So, I liked the first season of The Mandalorian. It was good to see a new version, I guess you could say, or a new side
It's
story.
definitely fresh.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. To use the backdrop of Star Wars in a different light. So it was nice to see. It was simple. Of course, the child stole the show, or if you don't know, the baby Yoda character stole the show. And so, yeah, I mean, and I'm a big Gremlins fan, so it kind of reminded me of Mogwais and such. So I was all up in there. So had a good time. I believe they did it the same.
Up in there.
Didn't they do that the same way the first season, where they just every week they released it? So I enjoyed that.
I think the first week they did like two that
Two.
week, and then it was weekly, and then there was like it was on different days towards the end because they were, I guess, trying to like land it right before like early screenings of Rise of Skywalker were dropping.
Yeah. So I enjoyed every week. My nephew and I would either text or chat on the phone about it. So it was a good time. So tonight, I just watched it an hour and a half, 2 ago. It feels the same, but it kind of feels like some of the folks at Disney got in there a little bit and said, "Hey, we gotta," because I saw like a spray paint, like some of the graffiti and stuff was like C-3PO and stuff like that on the wall. So, but I mean, I still like the child. I still like Mando himself. It's just an old Western with sci-fi skin. So I like Westerns for the most part. So I enjoyed it.
Okay. Brandon?
Well, to recap, I guess as far as like just initial thoughts on the last season, I enjoyed the last season overall. It kind of dipped in the middle for me.
Like episode
specifically
5, right?
around about episode 5 and 6-ish, it kind of went off and had a lot of disconnected stuff that really didn't matter.
I remember us talking about that, and both of us almost tuned out. There was like
some Canto Bite feelings.
yeah. But then it kind of came back around, and I thought it finished pretty strong. So as far as this episode is concerned, I thought it was okay. I'm not the biggest fan. Like this, my biggest gripe with this franchise is the procedural type format. I want more of an overarching type like story, and not a lot of like, we got to do this mission just to get this one little thing.
Sure.
Or, like more self-contained episodes, so to speak. More like a
they like give you like a little bit of reward at the end of every episode. But the majority of the episode you're spent on.
It's
like
not
a side
necessarily
quest.
like cliffhangers. It's just like little like mini missions. It's like a video game almost. And that's like probably my biggest complaint. Besides like, sometimes this show gets a little heavy-handed with its like callbacks and member berries, as they say. But, overall, I liked the episode, but I just felt like I was honestly just, at one point, I was just ready for it to be over because it just kind of meandered a little bit. And I wasn't too, like, I thought Timothy Olyphant was really distracting.
I thought the same thing.
I didn't feel like he fit.
I think we're all on the same page there.
I don't feel like he fit in this universe. I mean, I know that they cast him because he's like the go-to like cowboy type
Western,
character. Yeah,
Sure.
He just didn't, and especially in the Boba Fett armor, I just thought he looked ridiculous. I thought he looked like an emaciated Boba Fett walking around. But I mean, I thought it kind of put it back together towards the end, and that we can go into more details after Ryan gives his thoughts. But yeah, overall, I thought it was fine, but it was just a little like lacking.
Sure. I might be the most negative on this episode of the three of us.
Am I the most positive?
What?
Gotta come on CAPECAST more often.
This is my least favorite episode of the show so far. I am totally over the procedural format like you talked about. I think there's a time and a place for it, and about halfway through last season, they could get away with it just because Mandalorian's so different from any other Star Wars thing that's been out there. Like there was just like a newness to the show where I was like, all right, I can deal with this, but I just got sick of it. And I loved the Western, like you're talking about, Al, the Western feel of the show last year or last season. And this episode, I just felt like they like cranked that up like 300% to the point of like they leaned into it so hard that I'm like the guy Timothy Olyphant's walking around with like a traditional Western bandana. I'm like, you don't need to do that.
You notice that
like,
bandana didn't move when he was on the speeder.
Oh, dude, don't get me started on that speeder. They were just like they were talking like they were like
I was
sitting beside each other.
I was like, is there no background noise? Like,
right.
His one piece of hair was going
on these things.
I was like,
there was so much of that kind of stuff in this episode. The inconsistencies with the crate dragon, where like the whole episode, when this thing is moving around, he's like thundering through the ground, like things like the whole city's shaking. Like
good thing he went right in the middle of the road, not underneath a house.
Right. And then, but then
that's convenient.
In the last battle, if you want to call it, they're like they lure the thing out, and then it just like disappears, and then like pops up behind them.
I thought it was a different one.
Up on top of, so did I. It pops up on top of the hill, like, and there's like no indication that the thing's moving underground.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So the only redeeming qualities of this episode for me was the fact that they were using stuff from old video games, like Knights of the Old Republic, the Crate Dragon Pearls, and geeky stuff, I guess. Was cool to see. Like, it was cool to see Boba Fett's armor in action. Like, you didn't get to see that in the original trilogy.
Did you guys think it was goofy that he had to like bend over and like shoot the rocket all like it's like that's like the weirdest, like most awkward weapon.
Yeah, the rangefinder thing was cool, but it was a little dorky.
Pew! Did you guys feel at any point this particular episode felt more like a Star Trek episode than it did anything that was Star Wars, especially when they were in the beginning at the fight? And I don't care what sci-fi show it is you can just tell that the people, the like creature, the people that create all the creatures and stuff like that, or the aliens and whatnot, you can tell when they're just like, we got too many, we gotta go. There's this one guy in the crowd for the fight, and it's like one of the first shots of the show, and it looks like a Star Trek character. I mean, I don't watch Star Trek, but that's what it made me feel like. Sure. But it looked like they just said, paint him green, put some darker green stripes on him, and we'll have something hanging from his face. I mean, it was just that. It was like there was no, but it was like everything else in that shot was brown, black, and then he's bright green like a lima bean sitting in the middle.
It's weird because there was a lot of stuff in like kind of what you're talking about with like the speeder scene and stuff, where like everything in the last season was so like set wise and execution, like technically it was like pretty flawless. Like I can't like think back on a ton of moments where you were like, that doesn't look right.
Let me ask you this: if this were, let's say that this were the first episode of the whole show, do you think people would still have been excited about it? Because it kind of came out at the perfect time. Everybody was mad about Last Jedi, and then everybody was like, oh, JJ's back. We're geared up for Rise of Skywalker. And they kind of put this in the middle as like a supplement. And
I still feel like it would have done well.
I do too.
I'm glad that the first season happened after seeing. I'm glad this wasn't the beginning. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I just think that some of the Star Wars fans are kind of spoiled brats. Like they've got like
sometimes,
a lot of good stuff to go by, and they're always mad. They're always mad about something.
I agree.
and not all of them. I'm not saying all of them.
Jeff.
I don't, I don't know you. I
Love you, Jeff.
So, but they're always mad about something. So I feel like they're, like they almost, if they don't, I don't know
No,
what
it's
people
true.
are saying online about the show, the season so far, but
Well, they're
mad about it.
Really,
That might ruin
I
it.
feel like a lot of it's what started it was just the Disney thing, where you had so many of these like diehards who actually kind of like Jeff were very into the books and the
He's the one that went to the movie with us that time, right? That read all the books and
Yeah.
everything.
Rogue
probably,
One.
yeah.
Yeah. I like that one.
And
I like
then
Rogue One.
and I think that's his favorite too. Of
Is
the
it?
new ones. I think
It
so.
must have been because he hated it when we came out of it, if you remember. But
I mean, he probably still doesn't like it, but I think it's his favorite
Of the new ones?
Of the new ones.
gotcha.
Well,
He
I will
likes
say-
Mandalorian. Anyway, Jeff's not here. None of you listening know Jeff.
He can't.
I
bring us
will
down.
say this though. My nephew reads the books,
We'll have to
pretty
have a picture of Tiny
religiously,
Jeff in
and-
the corner.
and anybody that reads the books, they kind of, they just know so much more of the lore than I ever
Sure.
will. I have a hard time keeping
Mhm.
up with all of it for the movies, and I'm always interested to see to look at it through the prism of my nephew. So I
Yeah.
think that's a lot of fun. But I'm never gonna remember half the
So
stuff
that's how
that they remember.
I probably come nowhere close to him, and I know I come nowhere close to Jeff. But like, I grew up reading some of the books,
Okay.
and I loved like the Old Republic video games, and so that's why a lot of the stuff in this show in Mandalorian, like, they do a lot of cool kind of like nods to that stuff, even though it's not technically canon.
Is the Crate
Um,
dragon in any relation to Crate, the actual like planet from Last Jedi?
I don't. Not that I know of. It could be in whatever universe is existing now. I know that it's in Episode 4 when they walk through the 3PO is walking through the desert. You can
The
see
skeleton.
a skeleton of one. Yeah.
Well,
and then
I heard
Obi-Wan-
on a podcast that I was listening to today that one of the extras or actors, just like a B, like a daily whatever they're called, B player,
like a Chris.
yeah, like a Chris. Favreau was saying, when they were filming the scene with the thing coming with the Crate Dragon coming through the middle of the road,
Yeah.
they were calling it a sandworm or whatever. What's the
Tremors?
no what's the the name of the
Sarlacc.
Sarlacc? They were calling it that at the time of
Awesome.
filming, and then I think they found out that we can't call it that because they don't do that.
Gotcha.
They found, I think maybe like what's his name, Pablo. What's the guy's name that's like the big Star Wars guy that's involved in Mandalorian. He directed a few
I don't know.
things. The nerds are like hating on us so bad right now.
This was
He's like
supposed
the
to be
main
like
guy. He's like the
show for all
he's
this.
like he's the
Good
Clone
study.
Wars guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Direct all
anyway,
your hate mail to Brandon.
Yeah.
they were originally gonna do a Sarlacc, and I guess they do kind of hint at the Sarlacc when they say that it like took over the pit.
Yeah.
and I guess ate the Sarlacc that was in it. But
Yeah, that's funny though. I totally can see them like
Dave
that first
Filoni,
scene.
I said Pablo. That's not even close.
Swanson.
like Pablo Escobar.
I knew
or
it started with an
something.
S though.
Now, like, I don't know. I with this one, I was just there were just so many like head shake moments for me as I was watching.
Honestly,
I just didn't have that.
I just wish they would have got a complete, either if they really wanted Olyphant in this role, like maybe have
I'm worried that he's going to be in more of it.
Let him be one
considering-
of the guys with the full face covering, just shaking stuff.
Well, exactly.
Hey.
I mean,
Daniel Craig.
the guy that's in the like underworld, like boxing or wrestling thing that they
third
go
eye?
to.
Sure.
That was John Leguizamo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
they've had
Olyphant's
some,
too
sea-level
recognizable.
stars on there for sure.
Well, as soon as he spoke, I was like, "That's Timothy Olyphant."
Yeah.
And I didn't know he was
Yeah.
going to be on the show or anything.
Everything
I like
about
him.
everything
I do
about
too.
his look in this show was terrible. The like loose fitting clothes with the
Yeah.
armor draped on it and stuff.
Sorry,
I was like,
guys. I'm sorry. You guys sound so much like me on CiNEMACHiNE. So it's I'm
I
proud
have
of
hope. I have belief that it's going to get better for me.
Okay,
I
so
have
let's
belief that it's gonna get better.
talk about a few of the things that were good. Moving on.
So, what do you expect from this season? I mean,
Well, that's the thing. Even the major like button of this episode was spoiled in the trades. At least it was to me.
Yeah.
They
So
announced-
I knew that he was going to be in it. Boba Fett, we're talking about, I imagine.
yeah.
I did not know he was going to be like in it this quickly.
Well, a lot of people kind of expected that in season 1, episode 6, I think. The one that takes place on Tatooine with the like
Yeah.
Han Solo kid-ish type character, and the
Sure.
the like the girl that's like shooting at them. They're like bobbing and weaving or whatever. And they end up capturing her, and I think she ends up getting killed. But the boots that they show at the end of that episode, walking up to like where she was or whatever, were a different type of boots. People, I guess, maybe assumed it was either the Moff Gideon character or Boba Fett, and I think it ended up.
So I think that's what the direction I think it's going to go is, or Boba Fett teaming up with Moff Gideon. I feel like and I could be wrong. I just felt like that's kind of a natural progression there. He obviously
So
got
you think
one's
he'll
armor
be
back.
an antagonist?
I imagine so.
Not team up with Mando.
I'd be pretty bummed out if he was.
it'll be like
if
Batman
that
versus
happened.
Superman, guys.
In what way, Al?
Who's Lex Luthor in this scenario?
Al?
The child.
Yeah.
Um.
Al is Lex Luthor.
So,
Got the complexion.
And the red hair.
I was gonna say this kind of felt like that episode. I don't know what number episode it was last season, but it felt like the episode where he went to that little village and had to help them. Remember they had to go, like he had that big fight in the woods and everything, and they had the.
That was the 3rd episode.
Sure, I'll take your word.
Is this
for
the one where
Directed
he
by Bryce
meets
Dallas
up
Howard.
with?
Was it an ATST?
Is that where he meets up
or
with
whatever
the
whatever?
Yeah.
So it reminded me of that episode, and I don't know, it not too much to where I was distracted. The part where they were walking through town like it was a Clint Eastwood movie was a little distracting, and then the speeder stuff was extremely distracting because it was like Olyphant's speeder was just basically Anakin Skywalker's, like one side of Anakin's or engine or whatever you want to call
Pod racer.
it. Yeah, it's pod racer.
I like that personally. I mean, I like that they
But that's what I'm talking about.
retrofitted a pod racer into a speeder. I mean,
That's what I'm talking about. It felt like they some of the Disney heads got in there and said, "Hey, got to start putting some more callbacks to stuff in here." So throw that Boba Fett in there.
That's kind of been a complaint of mine for the whole series, as far as the, like I mentioned earlier, just the nods, and there's too much of that at times. But
see, I agree with you, and they do kind of jam it down your throat with some things, but I like as a Star Wars geek, like 99% of the time they get me. I'm just like,
well, I mean,
that's awesome.
even especially for this episode, like the Boba Fett like armor and helmet reveal with Olyphant just fell so flat. It was like whenever he turns around,
that was a
there's
bummer
no
for
build
me.
up to it. It was just like, oh,
Yeah.
Well,
okay,
nobody
cool.
thought it was him either. Nobody thought it was
Oh yeah, no
the
doubt.
real you know. But
and I mean, even if you're not if you're just a casual Star Wars fan, seeing like Tamora Morrison at the end, like I don't even know if you make that connection that that's who he is.
Yeah.
Right. If you're,
That's a good point. Probably not.
yeah, if you don't have the nostalgia for it. So I wanted to.
God.
Well, I thought that the two best things for this show, period. The score, I think everybody agrees the score is fantastic. It's hard to go up against the score of Star Wars and actually make something new.
Well, it's great to how different what a different direction.
Yeah, and it's Western without being Western. You know, it's still.
I hope it stays that way. I'm a little concerned after this episode that it's going to be a little on the nose Western, but
and
I
I thought the
think they need to
comedy
go-
beats were pretty good. I thought a couple of the comedy, but not. Well, I'll tell you what. Everything with
I
the
agree.
child. By the way, have you gotten your child in the mail, or is that season 3?
I have not yet.
Okay, season
No,
3.
I'm
All
not
right, you'll
yet.
get your child. So
He's
I
not a
did
celebrity.
love
The celebrities have all gotten theirs, but Ryan.
the scene,
You
the
don't-
opening scene. Go ahead.
you don't throw that CAPECAST notoriety around. You don't.
You know,
Yeah. you do you know who I am? No, I have no idea.
got 15 followers on Twitter.
Man,
The opening scene that you were kind of talking about with the like fight
yeah,
scene.
yeah.
That was a great scene for me. I loved how they showed Baby Yoda like ducking into the little
Yeah,
egg thing.
I mean,
like-
you can't
that
go
was
wrong.
great.
You honestly, I mean,
It was in the
honestly
trailer,
don't get.
but yeah, it was funny.
Yeah,
See, I didn't watch
I watched the
watch
trailer
movie.
and I thought that was funny in the trailer, and I thought it was funny right there. I knew it was coming. You just
Yeah.
can't go wrong with that. Whoever came up with that idea, kudos. And whoever
See-
whoever in the marketing department didn't make toys whenever the show first came out, you fired.
They're already
That was
fired.
fired.
See,
That was
that's an
stupid.
instance
People
where
will spend $375 on a
Yeah, we know
life-size
we know
Baby
stupid
Yoda,
people.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the difference is, but for some reason, I mean, I can see the marketing at work with the child character, and it works fine.
Yeah.
For me, like I'm not like eye rolly about it, but with the Porg element, it's like I can't stand the Porgs.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
I think
difference
there's
is.
something to
but
I think there's something to the fact that like in the first season, Mandalorian, like Mando is introduced as kind of this like he's not cold, but he's a bounty hunter. Like he
Yeah.
just doesn't have any like real like soft side, and then
Yeah.
you've got this.
Hey man, he's a
It's
man's
that-
man.
it's that like lone wolf and cub type storyline.
Yeah, for sure. Like
so-
you start to see like this little thing like pulling at his.
I'm kind of nervous they're gonna have a scene where, you know, like every movie where they have like Arnold Schwarzenegger babysits a little girl. They have like a dance scene or a scene where the baby dresses him up or whatever. I'm scared they're gonna have one of those scenes where
Dance
it's like,
battle.
yeah, I'm nervous that's gonna happen because they're gonna Disneyfy it too much and they're gonna try to be too cutesy
Well,
with it.
You know what? I hope
I
they do
read
that.
it. It's coming.
Because that would be the most ridiculous thing ever.
It would be great for a CapeCast
Yeah.
review.
Well, the only thing they've got going for them is that it's not a Netflix show, so it might work out. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah.
That is a good point.
So
How do you guys
So-
feel about the scope of this show? Like, you know, we all know how it's filmed with that like LED technology for the most part.
yeah.
With the sets and, you know,
Yes.
do we feel like it's getting a little limited in some areas? Like I felt like at the end, the scope was executed pretty well, but like some of the stuff, like the town itself felt very unlived in.
Chintzy. Yeah, the character. So I'm glad you said that because I didn't want to have to say it because I say it for everything. But the people, the townspeople, everybody's clothes look like, hey, come get them out of the props department. Come get it out of wardrobe. You know,
Yeah,
like,
it felt very like movie set. Like it didn't feel like, and then maybe that's
show.
I have that problem a lot with westerns in general. Like they build this like small, sparse-looking town in the middle of the desert. It's like, how is this even sustainable? Like, it needs to be a little more robust to feel like.
I think the one thing that's not helping also is the fact that they have so many of these episodes that take place in the desert. Like they need to vary the terrain. Like I remember the episode that you were talking about where it was in the forest, feeling like so different from
rice paddy.
Like
that one was good. I agree. I hope that's kind of in this season. They do a little bit of planet hopping and
I mean, even all the posters from last season and this season, it's just like dunes in the background.
Well, I wonder if it's because they are hiding. You know, they can only show so much because they didn't want to play their hand with the Boba Fett stuff, and we also are assuming that Ahsoka Tano is playing. Some part in this series. And so, they're probably only able to show so much.
Well, with it being, I know it's rumored, air quotes, to be some weird kind of dramatic shifts in this season at some point. It'd be interesting to see if that is something that is part of those shifts where we start to see a little bit more like creativity in terms of landscape, and there's just so much you can do in Star Wars with all these planets. Like, even as much as you hate, as much as everybody hates The Last Jedi, like that the crate was like it's cool.
Yeah, it's a great visual planet.
That's
honest. I mean, that's really
even Rogue One, like the tropical battle at the end, like
India.
That was kind of cool.
The planet of India.
But I don't know. There's just
I think it really is a beach off India. So I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I believe you, Al.
Just saying.
I believe you. I believe you.
I'm a fan, guys.
I think we have a problem, Brandon.
two things. Well, one thing, but it's two issues under the same umbrella. At the end of the first season, the guy, I don't remember his name, cuts out of the little spacecraft.
Moff Gideon.
So that's the last thing you're left with.
Dark
like, he's going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad about that.
Which I thought that looked lame. Anyway, so that, and then they
You look lame.
show another villain at the end of this one, and it's like button up the last guy.
Maybe.
First.
I'm not convinced that Boba's a villain, but we'll see.
Yeah, so I can see him being. I would be okay with him being like some sort of like anti-hero type. I just don't want to see him become like giddy up good guy in this show, because that's just not who he is.
Right. Well, we don't know who he is.
Gideon's going to be the bad.
Nobody knows who Boba Fett is. He's the most popular character that no one knows really anything about, barely,
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, but like you get a sense for it. Like even his dialogue with Vader and Empire, like he's a cold bounty hunter. Like that's what it. I don't know. I just don't want to see him be like giddy up good guy. I just feel like that would be a waste.
No, I mean, I definitely think he'll be a gray character, but
yeah. But I feel like I've been ragging on. I really am looking forward to seeing the rest of the season. I am, Al.
I hate it. I hate it. I really want to see the next one.
I just want to see.
That's kind of how I feel.
I just want to see something different, because this one kind of felt samey. Even though I
just want to see them make some progression, I guess.
I think the scale of the last battle, or the last set piece with the Sand People was executed pretty well. And even though there's like logistic elements that we talked about earlier that don't make sense, it was interesting to see that they had that aspect ratio change right when that sequence started.
I saw your tweet about it, but when I was watching, I didn't notice the change.
Well, I noticed it because I had my projector framed up for 2:35 to 1, and then right when that scene starts, it's like bleeding over the black masks on my screen. It's like, what's going on? Why is this doing this?
Yeah. What did I mess up? What do I need to fix?
And then it comes right back down right after that scene's over.
Quick story. Brandon, when he first set up his projector and screen and everything, he wanted to watch Dark Knight. And he had like borderline nightmares about watching it with the IMAX footage and having to change the ratio and stuff like that.
I remember Brandon telling me when he was setting his theater up, he'd text me in the morning that I couldn't sleep last night. Just couldn't stop thinking about XYZ the theater.
Hey man, that was a dark time trying to figure that out. That was many sleepless nights. It wasn't just one.
Glad Ben
Well,
Affleck
you got it
got
worked
through
out.
it all.
Yep.
Well,
I thought that was interesting. I'm wondering. I mean, I think I read, or somebody may have tweeted that that's like an old like Western trope that they would open up the frame, like like spaghetti westerns, in some like sequences.
Yeah.
And then pull it back
What
down.
are you laughing at, Al?
I'm just imagining Brandon sitting there like all cozy, like Mandalorian. All right, he's got his Batman pajamas
What is happening?
on. He's got his Ben Affleck cardboard cutout next to him. He's got a little juice box. He's all.
It's a good shot, right?
And then that goes. He's like, "What's happening?"
Favreau, don't ever do that again.
Spills his Capri Sun and his hot chocolate or whatever on it.
Yoo-hoo. Was it
Yeah.
Yoo-hoo?
Yeah. I'm more of a quick
In a
man.
carton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I just think it's funny.
No, so I know we kind of want to not go CiNEMACHiNE long on this review because we'll be doing it every week. But do we have any final thoughts on?
Let's just say what we want, or like what we are expecting and or want for the rest
All
of
at the same
season.
time.
1, 2, 3, go. All right, Brandon, you're up first.
I'm excited. Honestly, the Boba Fett element is exciting. I want to see how that plays out along with the Moff Gideon stuff. And I am genuinely excited to see how they integrate Ahsoka Tano, if that is, especially if Rosario Dawson is the person that's playing her. I think that's great casting, and I'm interested to see what happens. As far as story beats, I like we talked about earlier. I just want them to go to different locales, get away from Tatooine or deserty looking planets.
Right.
Because I think that's where they kind of fall into those like pitfalls of nostalgia driven stuff.
Sure.
And
Always comes back to Tatooine somehow.
Yeah. Star Wars is, there's so much, like uncharted territory that they could, mine, just get away from stuff we've already seen.
Sure.
And they're doing, and I say that, but the things that I'm looking forward to is Boba Fett, something we've already seen. Ahsoka Tano, it's already been, kind of explored in the Clone Wars and stuff like that. But anyway, that's
Cool.
my 2 cents.
Al?
I thought it was pretty good, and I look forward to seeing the next one. And don't know anything about what Brandon was just talking about. So
Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right. Happy birthday, Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, I definitely, I think me and Brandon are on the same page. I'm really excited I was stoked about the Darksaber Moff Gideon stuff at the end of last season, so I'd like to see, I really, really want to end this season having made substantial development in that storyline. Like, I don't want it to end again with like just another like, all right, you've earned this little nugget. So I just want to see like the storyline as a whole move more in a positive direction. I just the side mission episodic thing is just worn thin with me. And then of course I want to see more of the geeky callbacks and integrations into the show.
You know what I want?
Go ahead.
I meant to say this earlier. I want Mando to stop leaving the child by himself.
Oh my gosh, it's driving me nuts. It's
like-
driving me nuts.
And either play that off to where he actually gets stolen, or stop leaving him.
At the beginning of the episode where he comes waddling around the corner or whatever.
I'm like, and he's like, he even makes a statement like in the like underworld like boxing thing, wherever he goes, I go, whatever. And like, I was like, dude,
that used to be the song for the My Buddy doll. Wherever he goes, I go.
That's another thing too. I do want to see, like, I don't want him to be toting Baby Yoda around all season. Like, I'm
waiting for him to get one of those
have him
little
get
front
to his
carriers.
destiny.
Yeah, that's what he needs.
He put it in the back and have
put
little
some-
like earwings.
Some sunglasses on him, like in The Hangover.
Blinking a lot.
We'll name him Pablo because that's the name that Brandon's.
Yeah,
top
that's a
of
good
mind.
one. That's a good one.
Waking.
But yeah, I would just like to see him kind of get to his destination, get back to his home planet, and whether that means the story shifts and he becomes involved in the story in another way.
Mm-hmm.
But like he just kind of been like toting this guy around for a while. Like,
yeah, they need to figure out something to do besides just having him be more of a liability.
Right.
I think after last season, he saw what the child could do. I think he's like, I can leave him alone.
He just wants to have him as backup.
Yeah. But yeah, they're getting kind of close to the Disney stuff for me. Like, I'm waiting for Mickey Mouse ears to pop up somewhere. It's like, calm down. On all the, like, I'm the exact opposite of you. Go figure. Calm down with the callbacks. Calm down.
Yeah.
Like, slow down. You've got something
I think
good
for me-
going. John
I think
Favreau's
for me,
taking care of
it's
it.
more of the stuff that's like not as like traditional Star Wars.
You can go back
callbacks,
and look
like
for that C-3PO spray paint, like tap.
No, I mean like I'm like I said at the beginning. Like
Did you
the
start clapping
Great
at your
Dragon
TV?
Pearl and like, yeah.
You should have
It's a
filmed
good
it
one,
and sent
guys. It's a
sent it
good
to Al.
one.
He hates it. Don't clap.
Yeah.
Clapping in movies or TV. It's like, what do you think they're
Every
gonna
movie we go to, I'm just gonna overreact to everything now.
do? No, I had a good time.
Don't
Had a
go
good
in
time.
there.
I
Don't
look at
go in
TV
there.
differently than I look at movies, so I'm able to, I don't know, whatever.
It's very Scorsese of you.
Yeah, it's like
That's-
a roller coaster.
I'm usually
All right.
compared to Scorsese. I appreciate you stepping in line there.
Cool.
All right, guys. So I guess we'll be seeing you back here next week or on Sunday.
That's
to
including me.
record
I can
the,
come back and talk about
I guess.
We'll allow it. Yeah.
part two.
I guess.
I'm a season regular for the CAPECAST this season, so feeling pretty good. I've got a story arc.
Yeah, there's no monetary benefit to this, just so you know. Don't be expecting any checks in the mail or anything like that.
Who needs money when we can talk about CAPECAST stuff?
Speaking of which, me and Brandon will be doing a DC News Roundup here soon as well.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago.
Out. End call.
All right. Well, you want to tell them where they can find us, Ryan?
Yeah, so
Bend over, not shut.
we love chatting with you guys on Twitter, and that's at CapeCast Show. And then obviously down in the comments on YouTube, hit us up, tell us if you agree with us, don't agree with us, things you want us to talk about. And we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Watch They Live, everybody. Bye. They Live's awesome.